Today, I'm finally going to be opening up about the psychological and domestic abuse, stalking and harassment, and threats of blackmail that Mizkif has done towards me, and some of these issues which are still ongoing. For the entirety of this year, I've attempted to separate myself from him and not talk about him at all, and not talk about this issue and just not make it a public thing. But like I said, I feel like it's gone to the point, which I'll explain later, that I feel like it just has to be done. I took a lot of notes 2 weeks ago, actually 3 weeks ago now. I was informed by 3 separate people, one of whom was present for said incident, that he had done something similar to something that he had done to me and to someone in LA at the end of September. And this person is not a streamer or content creator, and because of this, I cannot in good conscience sit here knowing that I know critical information about someone that almost no one else does and not say anything. I think that most issues and dramas should stay private and off the internet, and I still hold that belief to this day, and I will hold that belief going forward. However, there are certain things that cross the line, and I say that the line has been crossed too many times to be count. There's a point where I believe that people deserve to know. He has been indirectly threatening me through my friends and people that I work with. They've informed me that he said that if I ever talked about anything he did, he would try to create a smear campaign against me in retaliation. I was told that he even approached other streamers who were close with us back when we lived together, asking them if they would join with him, and they all refused. At TwitchCon, he approached one of my employees, threatening them and saying if I ever talked about him, he would destroy me. Multiple people have told me that his plan was to claim that I kill animals and that I killed my own rabbits, since I had several of my rabbits pass away over the course of 3 years while I lived with him. If you try to threaten me to stay quiet, especially using my poor dead animals, I'm not going to stay quiet. I'm gonna run through everything from the beginning to the end to try to get across the story as accurately and fully as I can. I'm also going to be showing a few screenshots validating what I'm saying. Another thing that I'd like to mention before I start is that during my statement, I'm going to be mentioning directly the names of about half a dozen other creators who were present for certain things. None of these people did anything wrong. I've asked all of them permission. They all said that it was fine to include their names. Please don't go bothering them or asking them for more information. There are also streamers who gave me permission to share things that they relayed to me privately, but asked me to redact their names, which I, of course, did. The last thing that I want to make clear is that not every person that I interact with or that I'm friends with knew the extent of all of these things, and some of them didn't even know anything at all. I tried to keep things private with my close friends. But if anyone during the past year ever approached me asking questions, I didn't lie and I told them the truth. But yeah, I don't want there to be some kind of witch hunt. I initially moved in. I moved in with him, I believe it was the end of 2021, because he offered. I was living alone at the time, and I was having stalker issues in Kansas. We started dating. We were in a relationship starting January 2022, after I joined OTK. I'm not planning to go into too much detail about the start of the relationship because it honestly doesn't really matter at this point. It's irrelevant now. The only things that really matter that you guys need to know for the story are that it was, one, an extremely private relationship. It was even hidden from friends and people. And second, it was an extremely codependent relationship. He initially portrayed himself to me as someone who was very nice to girls and wanted to help me feel safe from stalkers and wanted me to succeed as a teammate. And we grew very close over time, and I was very dependent on him for feelings of safety, social life, like my stream, my job, everything. The start of it was fine. I saw a lot of people mentioning this. They thought this was what I was going to talk about. It's not a secret. He was very controlling over what I wore, to a degree, who I was friends with, and even when I would stream, bad things started happening. At the start, it would be things like, for example, he would throw bottles, like plastic bottles with liquid in it, not like glass bottles, at me, despite me telling him like I didn't like it and it scared me and I bruised very easily. He would throw his phone at me. I would tell him, you know, it scared me, I don't like it. And one time it even hit me in the eye, which caused me to get a black eye. But he always, you know, was like, oh, it's an accident. And I was like, oh yeah, it's an accident. And looking back now, I feel like that was kind of the start of him testing my boundaries. And then end of 2022, cover-up allegations happened. After that happened, his behavior started getting a lot worse. He was very stressed. The bad behavior was ramping up. And I tried so hard to help him and be there for him because I really believed in him and I wanted him to get better and get back on his feet. But that, unfortunately, did not really happen. So for a long time,
this is after Maya.
After
Maya.
the like cover-up allegations happened and he was like starting to kind of struggle on his stream. He never wanted to stream at the same time as me. Like, we really avoided it. And a lot of you guys probably noticed that I would only usually stream on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. That was because of him. First time that we ever streamed at the same time was for the 2024 Rust Kingdoms event on Twitch.
Jesus Christ.
I thought everyone was having fun. And then I checked my Discord messages and he's messaging me saying like, Emmy, I'm gonna kill myself. I waited so long for this, etc. Basically, he was upset because I had higher viewership than him. He ended his stream. And then I'm still live, you know, trying to act like nothing's wrong. He was walking behind me, making sure that I knew he was there. There were many ways out of that house if he wanted to leave the house that were closer to his stream room. He intentionally chose the door that was right by my room. He starts walking behind my stream and slamming the door so loud that my noise gate can pick it up. So even people on my stream are able to hear this is happening. And he slams it so hard and so many times that the front door literally broke. The lock did not work anymore. So I tell my stream, I'm like, hey, guys, I'll be right back. I get up and I go talk to him. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And he's like, I hate all of you guys. Like, all you guys do is just take from me. And like, I'm just done. And I was like, well, I don't know what to do now. And he was like, go finish your stream so that people don't know anything's wrong. I stop in the bathroom outside my stream room and I'm checking my makeup, trying to make sure people can't tell that I was like crying. I go back and I stream for a couple hours. During that time, I obviously was like thinking and processing a lot of what happened. The very next stream, I went live about a week after that. And I announced that I was planning to move because I knew that I would have to move.
Yep.
I didn't move out right away, but after like all of that Rust stuff happened was when other domestic abuse stuff really started. He would destroy furniture in front of me. He would throw things in front of me and near me. Destroy walls. There would be times where he was upset at me and I would go to my stream room and literally lock myself in to get away from him, and he would be banging on the door and screaming at me. And this wasn't like even necessarily because of me or like because of something I did a lot of the time. Like one of the times that it happened, it was because we were just getting food and he was on his phone and he saw that Mr. Beast had put out a video. And Mr. Beast had invited another streamer.
Over a Mr. Beast video.
And then at home, I'd be trying to sleep and he would scream at me and say that it was all my fault that he felt insecure. There was a time that I walked into a room that he was in, and as soon as he saw me there, he threw his phone at the dresser and started yelling because I had posted a YouTube video within the same couple of days as him. And mine was doing better. So basically, I felt like I was kind of stuck. If I ever performed too well, I was gonna be punished for it. He hated me, but he still wanted me around for his channel and like his thumbnails and everything. This is still before I moved out. I repaired the house that I lived in before this one, like pretty much immediately after the like breaking the front door thing happened. I remember the day I took Cheddar to the house, because he just randomly started like screaming at Cheddar. It was like, get that cat out of my house.
Mad at YouTube views, mad at Mr. Beast, mad at the cat.
I don't even remember what the final straw was because so many things happened. After I moved out, we still kept in contact. I had hope that somehow things would get better. He would always beg for me to come back, and he would promise therapy and change. There was a short period in October where
this was last year.
We had broken up. A week after this breakup, he asked to come over to my house and talk for closure. He came to my house, and I was crying like crazy because emotions were just very high because I was dealing with a lot of major shifts in my life as a result of me attempting to start to try to distance myself from him. We were just talking and I was crying a lot. He started to try to comfort me by hugging me while I was sitting on the couch and holding me really close to him. And we hadn't talked in quite a while, and I'm usually very uncomfortable with being touched a lot by people that I'm not in a relationship with. But I let him hold me while I was crying, and he started kissing me in my face, and I let him do it. I was still sobbing a lot. And then suddenly he tried to climb on top of me and aggressively shoved his hand down my pants, and I screamed. When I screamed, he jumped off me, and instead of apologizing or checking if I was okay, he said, "I feel weird now. I feel like I did something wrong. I have to go." And he immediately left my house while I was still crying without checking if I was okay or anything. And at the time, I was still making excuses for him. I was constantly trying so hard to compromise with him because I wanted us to be able to coexist in the same streaming sphere. He hated my whole existence. Like, ever since that one stream where I had like a little bit more viewers than him. He would say that it was my fault that his stream was dying because most of his viewers liked me. I made the hard decision, but I know now for sure the right one was to finally completely cut contact with him. I have not spoken to him since January of this year. It only took a couple of weeks, but soon the messages started. He has attempted to contact me over 40 times individually this year. Discord messages, Instagram DMs, and phone calls. I'm just gonna show those. At first it started simple, be confusing messages or like him expressing he was worried about things. This is not someone who loves or cares about you.
I'm not going to talk, by the way, about like anything about this beyond what she's going to talk about unless I'm getting mentioned. I know a lot of you guys want to know more, but that's just what's going to happen.
The next story that I want to tell involves what happened to me, Valkyrie, and Cinna earlier this year when we were attacked at the Santa Monica pier. Like, obviously, it's big news, people are gonna talk about it. He joined in on that whole thing of people going live to talk about it. At this point, we were already a couple months into me being no contact with him, making it clear I didn't want anything to do with him. So during this stream, he decided that he was going to tell more of my personal stalker stories that I've never personally talked about or shared publicly myself as soon as there's some big drama that he's not involved in. And he finds a way to, you know, bring up, oh, I was there for something that happened to Emmy. The way he told those stories, he kind of framed himself as like the hero. Yeah. He was like, oh, I held the stalker at gunpoint. No. The only person who ever came into contact face to face with that stalker before the police came was Bonnie. Bonnie is the person who found that guy outside, went inside, told everyone, called the police. The police came. All Miz did was he stood far away from the front door behind glass and metal with a gun. If anyone deserves credit for that, it's Bonnie. I'm so glad I finally get to say that because she is the one who like kept everyone in those two houses safe, not him. Anyway, back to the original thing. I was obviously panicking, like I just had this horrible thing happen to me the night before, and then my crazy ex-boyfriend is going live talking about more of my personal stuff. So, Ray, Cinna Asmongold were all messaging him to stop. Asmongold told me that he tried to call Miz while he was talking, and it rang three times.
Two or three times.
Hung up.
I finally did get in contact with him and told him to stop.
And so yeah, that was a terrible weekend. I got threatened to be stabbed, and then the next day, my weird ex was going live trying to self-insert so that he could make sure to farm his own clips.
And viewers. To get viewers, by the way.
It's been about 2 months since he has attempted to contact me directly. I think because about 2 months ago was when he started kind of getting scared that I might have been like, you know, telling people things. I heard from my friends, other streamers, and my employees that he had cooked up a plot that if I ever tried to talk about him, like about the abuse or anything else, he would try to go live and say that I killed my rabbit. I worked really hard to have the life that I have now with my friends, my family, my pets, and my community. And I'm so grateful for how things are now. For the people who did know about this, thank you for being there for me through all of this and supporting me and cheering me on. There were a lot of people as well who, even though they didn't know anything, without asking any questions, they still were very kind and supportive, and I will always remember that for the rest of my life. Then, you know, I am already in the process of filing a restraining order on him. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you guys for today. Thank you for everything.
You know, like, I don't want to elaborate on any other further things about this, but I can talk about kind of what happened, like maybe an hour into my stream or something like that. I got a call from Emiru, and I was like, what the fuck? She calls me, and she's crying. I call him the first time, and it rings like 2 or 3 times. It hangs up, and I'm like, okay, well, whatever. I call again, because, like, you know, sometimes, like, oh, it's just a random call, but, like, usually if somebody calls you 2 times in a row, it's like, okay, this is serious, right? And so then I call him again. The rings were like 7 or 8. I think he either, like, I don't even know if he had the phone, right? But I think that whoever had the phone saw the call and chose to decline it. At this point, pretty much everybody in the org, at least not everybody, but a lot of people were starting to, like, get this vibe with him. I didn't know any of this whenever I met him. Whenever we started OTK together, I had no idea. And when I did realize, you can see kind of the way that I dealt with it and everything. When Ludwig had that clip about, like, 95% of streamers never got to talk to again, I was like, yeah, yes, bro. Like, yes, you should, right? Like, the thing that happened in 2022 was kind of like the beginning of the end for me, with, like, being friends with any streamers or anything like that. And I have, like, a very small circle now of people that I'm close with. Yeah, a lot of times I think, and it's like, if I could go back, would I undo all of it? And it's like, there's a huge part of me that feels like I should have, right? I should have never done any of this at all, because it's just led to so much trauma and stress. I've heard Mizkif has done things privately and to other people that have made me look bad. But Mizkif has never actually explicitly done anything really bad to me. I would say more, right? I would say more, but I don't really think that it's appropriate for me to say more and elaborate on more.